Welcome to the PSAV Inspiration Cafe, and it's my pleasure to spend some time with Jeff Thredgold. Jeff Thredgold of Thredgold Economic Associates. We've been fortunate to have a number of speakers stop by the cafe over the recent past and done a number of segments on planning, but you bring a particular expertise that every planner, every company's interested in, and that's except for not having a crystal ball, you tend to look forward in the future from an economic standpoint. So as an economist, tell us a little bit about what your crystal ball tells you for 2012, 2013.
Well, when I speak, I'll make the point that I'm going to give them my view, but also a consensus view of forecasting economists. I'm part of 4 national forecasting panels. People have heard of the Blue Chip Forecast. USA Today surveys 40 economists quarterly, the Associated Press about 30, and a smaller forecasting group within the economics profession. So the consensus says basically we're going to continue to grow throughout 2012, not the kind of growth we'd like to see, but better than we've been doing. We talk about maybe 2.5% growth after inflation. The fourth quarter of last year, when we get the data, will be the best quarter of last year. But when we talk about the recovery, I mean, we statistically have been growing since June of 2009. That's when the Great Recession ended. You say that to an audience, well, we've been growing for 2.5 years, then I have to add statistically, if not emotionally.
Yeah, because
the economy's been growing. But last summer there was a view that maybe we're going to slide back into recession. That's very much a minority view at this point. We're likely to kind of stumble forward with reasonable levels of growth, reasonable levels of job creation. Stock market is reflecting better expectations. It's Dow's up 1,000 points in the last month. And so we think, things could be better, but they could be a whole lot worse.
So from a planner's standpoint or an organizational standpoint, they can be a little bit more confident about planning something in the future.
Yeah, I think so. Especially after 2008, 2009, when the floor just fell out in terms of financial markets and confidence levels just got absolutely hammered. I think as a planner, you can think, okay, we've established some level of performance. The world hasn't caved in. 91.5% of people are employed versus unemployed.
When you see people in the audience, I'm understanding now so many meeting attendees are texting at the same time and tweeting, and some speakers are getting immediate feedback on their presentation. Have you had a situation like that where you're...
You'll see people that are tweeting or texting or searching the web or whatever. I like to think in many cases they're actually taking notes. That's what I tell myself.
Right.
But you have an audience that is much more willing, especially younger people, to just either tune a speaker out. If they don't like the speaker, they'll totally tune them out. They don't want to walk out of the room, and they'll do something totally different. But they also have the ability to take good notes and to pass the thought on to somebody else. And if you deliver some level of credibility, which for an economist is not easy, then they're taking notes and they're sending information to other people about, you need to consider this person as a speaker, or he or she just said something that I find mind-blowing, I want to share it with you. And so you try to say that what they're doing is a positive thing.
Right.
And not be distracted by it.
And I've heard from other planners, actually, that's what they are doing in many cases, taking notes. They're not tweeting each other, they're actually taking notes on a speaker. Right. Have you sensed that a drift towards virtual meetings from live meetings? I mean, there's
we keep talking about it. Is it going to happen? I think on a minor extent. It's still, that's the biggest concern in the speaking industry, is we're going to stop going to conventions and it's all going to be virtual type things. I'm doing, more webinars or teleseminars, but the key at an event is the positive interaction between two people who are physically there talking to each other, whether competitors, buyer and a vendor, buyer and a customer. Somebody made the case, I'm trying to think how this goes, that tweeting is one-dimensional, email is two-dimensional, meeting somebody face-to-face is three-dimensional. And that it is still the most powerful way to conduct business is face-to-face, people talking to each other in the same room, same conversation, that's never going to go away.
Yeah, we've heard that from some folks that live events are still, that technology may augment but not replace live events at all.